ugly. Just plain ugly. Self-inflicted wounds. Low effort. Can't rebound. Your Boston Celtics lose to the New York Knicks starting the 2025-2026 NBA season 0-2. Is this trend going to continue? We're going to discuss that on today's show. We're maybe going to overreact a little bit as we saw some real deficiencies on this roster against the New York Knicks. Now, we also did see some other great things, at least, I guess, great one thing from the Boston Celtics in this game. Ugo Gonzalez, an absolutely stellar first few minutes from him, first 21 minutes in his NBA career. He was the lone bright spot in this team, and I think he's going to be a mainstay of the Boston Celtics rotation. But we got to talk about this game as a whole. It was not a good effort from your Boston Celtics, really in any shape of the imagination. A second quarter that you absolutely got dominated in throughout this game. In that second quarter, the Boston Celtics, I mean, this is just ridiculous. The Knicks went on 3 different double-digit to scoreless runs. An 11-0, a 17-0, and a separate 12-0 run. Half of the Knicks' points and in that second quarter were second chance or points off of turnovers. The Celtics as a whole in this ball game, 23 points off turnovers they conceded to the Knicks, and 21 second chance points allowed to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks with 21 offensive rebounds in this game. Or is it 23 offensive rebounds in this game? Doesn't even matter. The Celtics had 8. I mean, they got absolutely demolished on the offensive glass. 53 to 37. 37. 37. Sorry, regardless, they got absolutely blown out. In that second quarter, they lost by, 28, 42 to 14 in that one. The second quarter that the Celtics have allowed so far this season of 40-plus points. The fourth quarter against Philly, they allowed 42, and in this game, they allowed 42 in that second quarter. At halftime, the Knicks led 18-8 in points off turnovers, 14-2 in second chance points, and 16-0 in fast break points. I thought this team wanted to play fast this upcoming season. I thought this team wanted to cause chaos on both sides of the basketball this season. They did not do that in this basketball game. And it didn't change in the second half as well for the Boston in that department. Just two fast break points the whole game. They had 0 in the first half, 2 the whole game. Utterly ridiculous. Look, man, you could argue that this is just a game where they let their foot off the gas a little bit. I saw Jaylen Brown jogging back after a turnover in the second half. You could say that maybe they just didn't have it tonight. But I think this is something that could be trending for the entire season for your Boston Celtics. I got to ask you, are the Boston Celtics a playoff team? Why for yes and for no? We're going to go over the individual talent on this roster that I think just might not be good enough this upcoming season. But you answer first for me down in the comment section. Why for yes and for no? Are the Boston Celtics a playoff team or not? I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are if Jaylen Brown is the number one option. And in a pretty big game, under some pretty bright lights early on in the regular season. I know I'm overreacting. It's October. We've seen Jaylen Brown be a Finals MVP. We've seen Jaylen Brown have big nights without Jason Tatum in the lineup. But 7 turnovers in this game. And not to say that he played poorly in that opener against Philly, but if Jason Tatum is going to be out this season and the Celtics want to be a playoff team, we're going to need to not see, average, good Jaylen Brown. 25-ish points. He does his thing. Good defense, solid enough. But we're going to need to see great Jaylen Brown if the Boston Celtics want to have any sort of ceiling in the Eastern Conference. We have not gotten that just thus far. He's still having the same turnover problems that he's having on drives that he was making 3 years ago when people were clowning on Jaylen Brown for not having a left hand. Continues to have those same struggles here as he assumes the number one option role. Derrick White, I'm never really going to complain much about Derrick White because he always plays the game the right way, but when he's not shooting the ball efficiently, man, it's not good. Your leading scorer in this game outside of Brown was Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser was cooking for you. 6 of 10 from three-point range. I think the rest of if we do the quick math here, the rest of the Boston Celtics from three-point range, they were 15 of 64. So if you eliminate 6 of 10, they are, 9 of 54 from 3? That's terrible. It's inexcusable. Shout out to Sam Hauser for being a good shooter out there. But, man, that was a brutal performance. Is Peyton Pritchard ready to be the Celtics point guard of the future? The Celtics starting point guard here? I'm not so sure that he is, man. I know he had 6 assists to 1 turnover. Nice, solid facilitation there. But, man, if the jumper's not going down, we don't have the same level of protection. You don't have that same umbrella over your head that you had last season when Holiday and Porzingis and Horford are all also knocking down jumpers from outside, and Jason Tatum's playing ball. You don't have that same level of protection anymore. You got to be able to hit shots. The Celtics going to get anything for Anthony Simons when they try to trade him? I don't really know. Doesn't really seem like too much of a factor out there. As far as the bigs go, I do think Neemias Queta is a player. How effective can he really be? Actually, I don't know. You can't play a ton of minutes. You can see that he was getting gassed out there. Overall, it just needs to be a better rebounder here. 7 just isn't enough against the New York Knicks. Clearly, it was not. And look, I get it, guys. When you lose your entire front court, Al Horford, Luke Cornett, Kristaps Porzingis, and you lose your best rebounder, who I didn't even just name, in Jason Tatum, to an Achilles injury, you can't just sit here and wonder why they're not rebounding the basketball. They lost all of their rebounders. So it was a bad performance overall. It was an uninspiring performance overall, and I think it's something that could potentially continue as the season goes along. But I do think that there is a silver lining in this Celtic game. I do, folks. I think Brad Stevens did it again. Brad Stevens pulled off a little bit of highway robbery here in the 2025 NBA draft with the 28th overall pick. We're going to talk about him in just a moment. The Celtics game was absolutely disgusting. Somehow they won the turnover battle, but I do not get it. We're going to talk about that silver lining, the piece of good news that we've got in just a moment. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsor on today's program, and that is PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. It can get you up to 2,000 times your money in one daily fantasy sports lineup watching your Boston Celtics this season. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. Now, I know there's tons of apps out there that offer that for you, but PrizePicks is the best because they offer the best features, like stacks. So if you wanted to take multiple stat projections from the same player on PrizePicks, you can do so. It's also becoming a social event as well. You can follow your favorite creators on PrizePicks. You can follow your friends. You can follow celebrities. And you can copy their picks into your own lineup using the new feed tab. My lineup for the Celtics versus Knicks game did not go so well. Chris Boucher not making as big of an impact as I would want him to. Derrick White did not score enough down the stretch of this game. Jalen Brunson, I don't even think got more than 26.5 points. And then the rebounders down there, Neemias Queta and OG Anunoby, I believe, did get more than 12. So you can tell my picks or fade him. Not so hot on this one, but just do it at PrizePicks. Download the app today and use the code CLNS for $50 in lineups for new users. This is big for you. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Ugo! I was talking about low effort in that first half from the Boston Celtics. I was talking about low effort pretty much overall throughout the whole 48 minutes. But I cannot tell you that I saw low effort in the 21 minutes that we saw from the number 28 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, Ugo Gonzalez. 6 points, 4 rebounds. Yeah, if you're looking for gaudy stat lines, if you're looking for a superstar level player to just jump in right away, no. He's a 19-year-old who hasn't played in the United States in his life. So the fact that this guy, who we pegged as a person who's going to be playing with the main Celtics in the G League for large portions of this season, looks like he could be a rotation mainstay for Joe Mazzulla because of the effort level, the IQ, the get-under-your-skin ability that he has on the defensive side of the basketball, that speaks volumes about the character and the ball player that Ugo Gonzalez is. By the way, had 2 nice finishes at the rim with the left. You don't see that from everybody. There's still a lot of players in this league that I watch on a daily basis that do not have a left hand like Ugo Gonzalez. He was picking up Jalen Brunson full court. He wasn't, and by the way, he was getting hacked like constantly on rebound attempts. He was constantly crashing the glass. Had a nice putback as well on an offensive rebound. Was crashing the glass. Was getting shoved around by Karl-Anthony Towns. No calls whatsoever. He drove to the rim. That is one miss that he had, or one of his couple misses that he had, and he got fouled completely. No call because he's Ugo Gonzalez, 19-year-old, never played in the NBA before. This guy's a legit player. Stan Van Gundy said he was falling in love with Ugo Gonzalez. Said Brad Stevens did it again with Ugo Gonzalez. Marshall Green's been laughing at me saying that I've been saying the name Ugo Gonzalez for the past few weeks. It's Ugo's world, and we're all living in it. 2 steals as well on the defensive end for him. Has a nose for the basketball, always in the right spots. The offensive stuff is only going to get better in his game. He's 19 years old. I'm in love with what Ugo has done for the Celtics here. +7. A +7 in a game the Celtics lost by 10. Was he the only one? I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm gonna get the numbers very, very quick for you. Was he the only Celtic that was a net positive tonight? Oh my goodness. Okay, Boucher actually was a +5 there. But Ugo, a team high +7 in 21 minutes. The Celtics were a -17 in the minutes without him. This kid's a player. I'm pumped up for it. Another guy who I thought would emerge on the back end of the Celtics rotation here, who got a DNP in this game. Josh Minott. Very interesting, man. I thought he possessed the, transition ability, fast break ability, athletic ability, length defensively to be on the Celtics rotation here, but he was not put in at all in this game by Joe Mazzulla. I'm not so sure how frequent of a thing that's going to be. We'll have to see what he had to say about it, but definitely caught my eye here that Josh Minott, a player who I thought was going to be pretty effective throughout the season, already getting a coach's decision DNP in the second game. We'll keep you updated on what exactly that means, folks, but I'll tell you what, man, pumped up for the future of Ugo Gonzalez. I want to see even more minutes from him. I want to see him thrown into the fire even more. If the Celtics are going to be losing basketball games this season, which I might want them to do, don't kill me. I want to see more Ugo Gonzalez. Play him 25 minutes a night. I do not care. I want to see, I'm seeing some guys tweeting, Ugo Gonzalez is a 3-point shot away from taking Payton Pritchard's spot in the starting lineup and moving Derrick White over to the point guard. Like, seriously. If we're thinking about Payton Pritchard real quick, like, does this guy deserve to start? I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling a little bit because I'm fired up about Ugo Gonzalez here, man. But he looks to be a mainstay in Joe Mazzulla's rotation, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you're going to put that type of level of effort in, the way that the Celtics kind of clawed back into this game is they were down 20 for most of the third quarter is because the second unit came in and gave him a boost. And that was headlined by Ugo Gonzalez there. So absolutely in love with the way that he played. I'm fired up from him. I bet everybody goes down in the comment section and gets fired up for Ugo here because, he deserves it, man. He deserves it, man. 28 years, that's not 28 years old, 19 years old, and he's never played NBA action before, got thrusted in by Joe Mazzulla today, and he was about the only bright spot on this Celtics roster. So go down in the comment section, type his jersey number, show him some love, make him see this, make his family over in Spain see this video as well. Get those 28s down in the comment section, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Bad news overall is that the Celtics are probably not that good. They're probably going to be it's probably going to be a long season. It's probably going to be a very middling season, maybe 35 to 39 wins, somewhere in that realm. But the good news is they have capitalized, and Brad Stevens has done it again. Pulled off some highway robbery on a kid in Ugo Gonzalez that I think is going to be in this league for a long time. And who knows, probably until he polishes up his offensive game and becomes that knockdown three-point shot creator, he's not going to cost too much either as well. So great news in that regard, but bad news overall in the loss. Boston loses 105-295, and they fall to 0-2. We'll be covering this team no matter what all season long, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, let's go C's.